Alright, so this next section is going to be about graphing. And so when you graph, here's what I want you to do. I want you to remember that we always start with creating a little table with x and y. I also want to remind you that anything to the 0 power becomes 1. So the 3 to the 0 is 1. And so when x is 0, y is 1. So we know that. Our next number I want you to use is 1, because 3 to the 1, that's 3. So that means that when x is 1, y is 3. So we can already tell that the behavior of this graph is going to end up being something along this line. Alright, and you're just going to select A, B, C, or D. So it's not like, it's going to make it difficult for you to check. When you look at this next one, again, same thing. Create an XY grid. We're going to say when x is 0, y is 1. But on this one, I'm actually going to lean towards the negative numbers, because if I use -1, this becomes a whole number 4. Reason? If this is if this is 1/4 to the -1 power, well, that becomes 1 to the -1 power over 4 to the -1 power. We don't like negative powers, so we end up inverting the fraction. And that's how you end up with 4. So I would look to this, and I could see already, yeah, it's going to go through there. But at -1, I'm at -4. So I can already tell that this behavior will go this way. So it's going to decline as it goes the other way. Because when I use 1, I get 1/4. See what I'm saying? Alright, and the same thing would happen if I use 2. I would have 1/16, which is really tiny. So we know it's going small on this end. On the other side, obviously bigger, right? Alright, and the next one, you have 4 to the -x. Here's the thing. Again, I create the xy grid. When x is 0, I have 4 to the -0, which is equal to 1. Again, I already know that. If I have a +1 on this particular example, this becomes 4 to the -1, which is 1/4. So I know that this is declining on this side. But if I use -1, this becomes 4 to the -1, which gives me 4 to the 1 power, which is 4. So when x is -1, this is 4. And obviously 16 will be somewhere up here when I do the negatives, right? And that should look something like that. Again, you choose your correct answer based on 4 possibilities. Okay. Next question, here's what you need to remember. On the next question, you've got a +2. That +2 should help you understand that this, if that is 0, so here's xy, I'll do it in red so it's a little different. I have 1/2 to the 0 power, which we know is 1, plus 2, which is 3. So at 0, x being 0, I'm at 3. Let's see what happened here. It's still recording. Yeah, it's still recording. Okay, good. Got worried there for a minute, but I got disconnected. It's happened before. So the other thing I want you to consider is this 2. This 2 is actually your asymptote. So whatever it is, whatever your diagram, it's going to fall just above that. Okay, so if we use -1, we end up with 4. So at -1, 4, and so on. So we know that the behavior of this graph is something like that, and it should sit just above the blue line, okay? The +2. Alright, I'm not going to do 14 or 15 or 16. Those are all the same nonsense. Okay, for number 17, the graph of y equals 2 to the x, translated 3 units to the right. If it's to the right, it's an x minus 3 situation. So this is 2 to the x minus 3, and then 9 units up, so plus 9. This would be answer choice C for number 17. Alright. Okay, for number 18, interest, simple interest. simple interest is I is equal to P times R times T. This is your P, this is your R, that's your T. You only have to change them to their respective values. So this becomes 9600 times 0.04. Turn that out at that point. Let's see. Oh my goodness. Okay, so 9600 0.04375 times this become 3.75. When you multiply this in your calculator, you're going to end up with 1575. That's the interest earned. And then add 9600 to that, you get 11175, which is answer choice D. Question number 19. Question number 19, they're asking you for the future value given a present value of 14,000 times 1 plus the 0.13 divided by 2. Semi-annual means 2. Raised to the 2 times 9. Alright, when all is said and done, you get A is equal to 14,000 times 1 plus 0.13 over 2 raised to the 18th. If you remember, I always say start with the 0.13 divided by 2, obtain that value, add 1. So you start small, you start here, then you go big, you add 1. Alright, and now we raise it to the 18th power, and then we finish it off by multiplying by 14,000. So for number 19, the final answer should be B. 43,000 and change. Alright. Quarterly means I'm going to multiply by n is equal to 4. Same formula where A equals P times 1 plus R over n raised to the nt. When you do this formula, you try it yourself. You should get answer choice D. If you don't, see me in class or in office hours. Alright, now, this lovely one, continuous compounding. Alright, I hear some people still having a little bit of an issue. This is the P equals, or P times R e to the RT. So the future value is equal to the present value times the natural base e raised to the RT. So when you do this one, you're going to have 2670 times e raised to the 0.05 times 2. Okay? Alright. And so when all is said and done for number 21, you should have answer choice B for this one. Okay, compounding continuously, the same thing. This is PERT, this is also PERT. And that being your keyword, okay? So I'm just going to give you, and compounded daily, by the way, is 365. Where n is equal to 365. And that is actually A equals P times 1 plus R over n raised to the nt. Alright, so it's just in that case n is 365 days. So for number 22, you should have answered A for 22. For 23, you should, this is compounded continuously, this is a PERT. Alright, so A equals PERT. And for this one, you should have answered, for 23, you should have answered B. And then remember, they're giving you P, they're giving you R, they're giving you T. Alright, and so the setup for this one would be 6,000 E raised to the 0.05 times 10. Alright, and so that equals the future value A. 24 is the same. I'll let you do that one again on your own and see if you get it. Okay, for 25, 26, these are actually very easy questions. You just are working the opposite way. So in this case, they're giving you A. They're telling you A is 10,000. And this is equal to the principal value times 1 plus 0.09 over 4, because it's compounded quarterly, so hence 4. And this is raised to the 4 times 7. So in essence, you're going to end up with the formula that looks like this, where you're going to have P equals 10,000 divided by parentheses 1 plus 0.09 over 4 raised to the 28th power. Okay? And if you follow the order of operations, you should end up with the correct answer, which in this case for 25 should be B. And for 26, the same type of process. I'll let you do that, and if you still have trouble, see me during office hours. That's D. Same formula, same process as 25. Alright, I'll stop the video here because it looks like we have more graphing, and then I'll double back.